So I have the awesome pleasure of interviewing and chatting it up with my buddy Joe Theriault, or I like to say Joe Boston, because he's got that awesome Boston accent. You guys know me. I'm Matt Hayes, the Airbnb Beast. Um, but enough about me, man. Let's chat it up, Joe. So I met Joe because we're part of the same mastermind group. It's called the Collective Genius. It's a really awesome group. If you guys are ever interested in that, definitely Google it. I would say the brotherhood, the camaraderie, all the real estate investors and everything there. It's pretty amazing. But so I met Joe and his wife. We went out to dinner the first night and then just kind of hit it off. So yeah, man, Joe, what are you getting into, my man?
Yeah, the definitely the CG thing. I like meeting guys like you. I like meeting the operators that are there that are like, I've heard about that group for a long time. You got to pay to play to be in there, no doubt, right? That's not a cheap dime to drop every year, but the
No doubt.
like, uh, in the time commitment to it. So it's been, even in the past year with all the different vendors and relationships that we've made in there has been like just really, really killer. I, um, bought my business partner out in 2022, and there were concerns, about doing that. How do you do it? All of the pieces there of like, how do you approach that? Because my approach is go fuck yourself, right? And that's my
Exactly.
approach, right? And let's fight. And to this day, we're still talking, right? And we're still doing business together and other on other things. And I think, there's definitely some, you know, uh, there's a fine dance to make that happen, right?
Hmm.
Of 9 months and attorneys and a mediator that I hired ahead of time to like coach and make sure that like I was doing the right thing for me. And, I have
Sure.
a bad habit of like trying to make a problem go away, and I'll pay to make a problem go away. So, so making sure I didn't overpay, right? Making sure that
It was fair.
it was fair, right? Exactly, because there were times and people surrounding me that were like, Joe, and I'm like, this is what's fair. Like I know I'm probably paying a little bit more, but it's
Hmm.
a fair number. And he had a lot of business acumen that I didn't have at all. I had the hustle and grind and like let's get shit done, and like that was who I was in the beginning. But I started to make more relationships, and I just wanted to grow more than he did. Is what ended up being. So, so CG for me in the past year has been, really really important, right? So, and a big step, just having the background and people around me to be like, all right, we you got it. You know what I mean?
For
So
me, man, I mean, it's a building block for my business.
yeah,
Like now, anytime I make a pivot or a move or um, anything new that I'm not really sure about, I call the group.
yeah,
Whether I'm posting in the group or I'm calling one of the key guys that can point me in the right direction. I just got off the phone earlier today with Josh Culler because
yep,
I'm working on a personal brand and building that, and talking about what it takes to do it. What are my goals for this year and then the next 3 years, um, and all the stuff around that. So, like, I'm so blessed to be a part of that group, and I'm very humbled to be a part of it because there's guys like Ren that is just a freaking monster.
yeah,
5,000 real estate transactions, like that blows my mind. There was another group that I had met, that we were in the same work session, and they did, I think it was like 75 transactions a month, and
yeah,
I can't even wrap my head around that.
right,
Like, I mean, that's three a day
right.
or four during working days. It's like, but yeah, man. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for being here, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for chatting with me. I would love to know Joe's story. and how you got in real estate and why you chose to get into real estate. And can you walk me down that journey on what you did?
Give me a second. So the post shows the content isn't available. Wondering how to join. What happens when you do that? So that's coming from my side of stuff. I'm gonna see if I
So it's
can.
not live.
Yeah, not live on my side. So I'm gonna flip a button and see if it lets me go live on my end. Let's see what happens here.
Hmm.
All right, let's see what happens. All right. Dashboard. Okay.
Well,
Looks
shoot.
like it's going. It looks like it's going because I can see it
Okay.
on the back. That's all right. We'll let it ride here.
Okay.
Um,
They can always come back to it and
yeah,
listen to it. It's going to be on Spotify, YouTube, all these other Facebook groups,
yeah,
all the podcast channels.
yeah.
That is,
They're rolling with their. I'm getting a bunch of my people typing in saying, "Hey, I can't get in," which was I was afraid was going to happen because they couldn't get into the live side. So that's why I was trying to. Uh, they're all like pinging. Even my wife's pinging me now. That's what the text is because they're getting. Can you turn down? Yeah. Uh, yeah. So let me
well, it's
see.
all good, buddy. They can listen to the
All right.
recorded version.
Yeah.
Not a big
Uh,
deal.
yep. Agreed. Um, so story, man, it's crazy. Like it really is. You know, when I put together that bio, like man, I didn't, I don't know. I don't usually go that deep.
You
Like
went deep.
I don't usually put that shit out there, man. Like no one knows that stuff.
Yeah.
Like unless you're close to me, right? Like,
Hmm.
um, I just don't. I just don't. I don't know why. Um, that I don't do it that way. But I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just roll, you know. So um, it's, it's where we went, you know. It's I got I got I got a early thing from my parents about, hey, why don't you why don't you why don't you there we go. I got it fixed on my end. Sorry. Because I keep fucking trying to turn it down. All right. You know, was I remember when I was like 18 or so, I was walking out to the mailbox. It's just weird, one of those weird things I still remember to this day when my parents were like, hey, you know, you could buy a multifamily and live in one unit. And like I wanted to get the fuck out of the house so bad and smoke pot that was like more important than like anything, right? At that time period in my life, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
you know, so I ended up with there is like so many crazy little points to this of like how it ended up here. You know, like home investors is a big deal now, right?
Hmm.
Like out there and we buy ugly houses. Turns out 25 years ago, home investors put together. I remember buying the home investors thing and wholesaling like 25 years ago before wholesaling was even a thing, dude. I had the wholesale fucking folder from
Wow.
uh, from home investors, and I look back now to this day, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I had that folder still because, funny enough, home investors doesn't wholesale anymore. All they do is do the franchise, right?
Right.
So there, I bought my first building when I was like 21. I was a machine, you know, I grew up in manufacturing and machining with my family, and I ended up working at my uncle's machine shop, buying the first building. We moved into it, and it was a fucking disaster, right? I remember to get the FHA loan, like the appraiser must have came out like 5 times. Just like he wanted us to paint it and do like all the paint chip shit, right? So we did that when I was 21, and that was in the time frame that would have been right around 2000, right? So that was before the market took off. right, for 2006. So if you were if you were in 2000 and you would have stayed with it, and you weren't a fucking idiot, I probably wouldn't have been on this podcast right now, and I would have been all set already. But there were maybe life mistakes being a 21-year-old that I had a pretty decent job at the time, and I owned that building, and I was living rent free, right? Like for me, I was doing pretty good. Well, I was drinking, walking downtown because it was in the city. We go out to bars, drink, smoke lots of pot, have parties, right? And I got that DUI, right? And I always thought, and I'm going deeper than I normally go, but I'm gonna go far away. I got that DUI, right? And I always thought I was one of those like judgmental fucks when I was at a certain age. I still can be, but like I got that DUI, and I always was like, man. I remember being before I got that. I was like, people get DUIs are fucking scumbags. Like they're lower than low, right? And
then you get one, yeah.
and then I get one, and I'm like, what the fuck, right? Oh, road sign. And there were many road signs before that. We won't even talk about blackouts and other dumb bullshit that I had done way before that, right? All kinds of dumbass shit, right?
Joe was having a good time. That's what I can see what was going on.
There we go, right? So, give you some of that early on story to hit that bio, right? I said, you know what, this isn't going right. I was, partying and all that. So I because of where my ego was at that time, I ended up just like going to a meeting and I like smoking pot and I like drinking. And I was like, how come I can't stop smoking? And I was like, well, I keep drinking. And every time I drink, I keep smoking. So I ended up at a meeting, in one of the anonymous meetings, whatever, right? And someone was like, alcohol's a drug. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what do you mean alcohol's a drug, right? And I know it's fucked up because we're in a drinking whiskey meeting. And, it was kind of funny. It was like this whole thing. And, I don't know. I don't talk about this ever unless you know me. And I've been sober 20 years now, right? So, from everything, right? So, and I walked away from that building because the person I owned it with, they were still partying, and I just had to get away. And
and you made that decision at 21?
That would have been, I was probably like, I was 24 by that time.
24.
Yep.
Honestly, dude, I mean, that people carry that shit all their lives.
Yeah.
And you were able to say, no, I want something better for myself at that, age. I mean, that's really saying something.
Yeah, it's it's pretty crazy, to end up there with that, right? So the biggest thing there is, I ended up meeting someone in early sobriety, right? Like, and getting married, ended up living in Germany, and for a period of time, and then ended up in Texas, and right outside Fort Hood, and that was an interesting time being a Yankee down in deep South. Not even deep South, but talking Texas, right? Like, Oh, and I was working in manufacturing as a machinist, right? Like,
and your accent, bro.
Oh, dude. And I'm like, fuck you, right? Like, I'm not like the quiet guy that puts up with bullshit. So that didn't necessarily go well. In many of the places I worked, there was definitely the running joke, with many people in there. It was fun. We had a good time. But you definitely could tell they didn't particularly care for the Bostonian out of the gate. But, that's what ended up happening. And I was married, got divorced, bunch of shit happened. And at that time, I wasn't making a ton of money. I was like $14 an hour as a machinist. I left there and with $500 in my pocket. That was 2006, 2007. I left Texas, drove my car up, and was homeless up here for about 2 months. And and got a job finally in manufacturing in kind of like the mountains in New Hampshire, and just rebuilt from there. And
How old were you then?
I would have been right when I got back up to New Hampshire. I would have been about 30, I think, is the timeline when I came back up here. I was 30 years old. I think I've been back for 15 years now, and yeah, that's how I get back up. I was 30 when I got back up here, homeless and working my ass off in a machine shop. Got a job up here and just busted balls. Finally went from homeless. I bought an RV, put it in a campground, and lived in that for a year. Save up enough so that I could, buy my first multi again. And bought that multi, moved into it, fixed it, refied it, pulled the money out, um, did it again, bought it, fixed it, refied it, did that a few times, was still working my ass off, man, like second shift just to get a couple more bucks an hour. Went to third shift, right? Like whatever it took, man.
Holy cow! Yeah.
And then, I think that's a big misnomer in real estate. Like, I think that's the dream that everyone's sold from whatever fucking classes out there is, oh yeah, passive income. Fuck you, passive income. There ain't nothing fucking passive about it. And I know I just saw one of my friends, Rob, on here, who owns a lot of shit. And I tell you, he's down. I call him every time I go to his office, and he's there fucking working right there, right down from me on Main Street. So I fucking know it ain't passive.
I know exactly what you're talking about because, not to derail you there,
go.
Shit, man, this business is not passive. And if it is, I have not figured it out yet. And nobody else that I really know that's doing big shit has got it figured out either. The only way that I can see that it's passive is if you just write a check to somebody or a hedge fund or REIT or Cardone Capital or one of those guys and just write the check and here's a couple $1,000,000 and forget it, right? Like, I'm seeing Ryan Duffy saying, "Hell yeah!" Like,
yeah,
it's an active game, and the shit that I do, the Airbnb, I mean, it's active income. It is not passive, and I love the fact that somebody else is saying it because there is so many freaking false gurus and gurus out there saying, "Oh, get into real estate and it's easy and there's all this money in it and." It's passive income. Well, only one of those statements was correct, and that there's a lot of money in this business. But there's also a way to lose a lot of money in this business too. So if you don't do it right and get your freaking shit together, then yeah, man, you're gonna have some problems.
For sure, man. It's like, I think that's I'm agreeing with you there. Yes, you can be passive. Yes, you can put your money. And some guys I know that I hooked them up with a fund, that buys like those 300 unit buildings, and they've already done their stuff. They've already lived their life. They already got a couple $1 million to invest. And yes, you can invest in real estate. Yes, guys I know can get you good 10% returns, right? Like, and yeah, you can, fine. I won't disagree. But for guys like us, I think that spiel out there that you'll hear, across the things of how it's passive and it's easy. It's not for me, man. I'm here every day, and I think that's what me and you drew to each other was. I'm here every day. I'm fucking at jiu-jitsu. 6 o'clock this morning, I was there, and I think that's what drew me and you together. We both have that martial arts.
Yeah.
To us, right?
That's it.
And it's not easy for me, man. I'm here living and breathing it every day, so that's how I got there. And then I ended up getting a yoga studio, opening a yoga studio. Just a lot of life story in there. It's getting missed, but I ended up with a yoga studio, like, I don't know, a few apartment buildings and working full time. My best friend had a wedding, and I ended up being the best man. And he invited me, and you met Candy, and that's where I met her. And she lived like 2 hours away. And I was at a point, yeah. And nice. I was at a point that, that I was doing some coaching, one-on-one coaching with somebody, just like personal growth coaching. And you know, I was like, man, this would be a huge step if I like leave all of this, like coming from homeless, you built it back up, like you're in a good fucking place. Like I got this, you know, I was at a good place for where I was at that time, right? And I'm gonna move down where I'm at, which is on the border of Mass now, and with my now wife Candy, and risk all of that, right? Like that was a big fucking bridge to cross, and there wasn't a lot of money at that time either. It was working for me. So I sold those buildings, and it basically gave me about 25 grand, and I quit the job and had 25 grand in 6 months to fucking make it work. And I was the bandit sign king for a long time. That's what built this business. I built it on bandit signs. Like
No shit.
and she was like corporate, like big corporate gig, like professional woman and all that. And she's out with me at fucking 2 a.m. hanging bandit signs saying I buy houses cash downtown Lowell with a fucking ladder and shit, hanging up signs, you know, like and that's just what it took, man. Like people don't
Hustle,
realize,
grinding
like
every day. And the key about bandit signs is you can't just do it once.
No,
You got to do it all the time.
I had the UPS truck backing his truck up to my office door, and like we'd be unloading cases and cases of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bandit signs, dude. Right? Like, and it was just constant, you know. So again, it's just that, you know, people. I don't know. I go back to, man, put in the work. Either unless you got the money, right? You got the money, you could have just went right on TV early. I didn't have the fucking money, and I didn't want to go back to a job.
Oh, I know. 50, 60, $100,000 freaking advertising budgets for that 3x ROI. That's tough, man.
And I have it now. Don't get me wrong. Now I do it, but it took me years to get there, right? And be comfortable being able to play that game, you know? So it's just, yeah. So basically that led me to 2014, and which there was a lot of bumps in between there, but just to keep it kind of real estate related, is you know, in 2014 is the bandit sign era, and how I ended up, you know, to where, you know, from there of doing like my very first deal in 2014 to basically you like, I just thought I was gonna do like one rehab. I didn't even know, just like, can I do one fucking deal? And I think we pulled off like 25 rehabs last year. I don't even, somewhere in the realm of 100 wholesales, novation deals, dude, like owner finance deals. We're doing it. Me and you have been talking about this fucking Airbnb. Like we're looking at multifamily things right now.
Dude, that's a massive step.
Insane, dude.
Like there comes this point in your business where it's not a mom and pop anymore, and you really turn your business into culture and communication and team building and systems and processes. And I've got another buddy that's kind of going through this same thing where it's not even necessarily as much of a real estate company. It is more of just a production facility, and the production product just happens to be real estate. And we're at this era now, and you seem like you're definitely in your business that, you know, okay, well, I did 125 deals last year. All right, well, how many can I keep this year with that money? How many can I grow? Can we get some more multi-families? Where's the best place for Matt and Joe's time? Like that's where I'm at. We met with our financial guy earlier today, because we've been working on our goals and our trajectory and our plan, and we had a few more things to kind of button up, because our business went through this massive pivot. I won't get into that, but on how we saw the light in owning the real estate and holding it and keeping it, because that's where the wealth is built over the long haul with this business. And yeah, you get to that many deals. I mean, what I love about it is then it starts to give you some serious options, right, on where you want to put your focus. Do I want to get on a podcast on a Wednesday with Matt? You know?
Right. Yeah. You know, it definitely does, you know, and like, it's, it is, it's funny you say that. Now it's not like, I help my sales guys now, and I have a mission for what our quarterly goals are. And like, if you were to ask me back in 2014, would you be working on culture? I've been like, fuck you. Well, I'm not working my culture, dude. We're gonna grind, motherfucker. We're gonna do
I
deals.
know.
Wait for me
Shut
if
up.
you're not.
Get your ass here at 6 o'clock and let's put the work in, man.
Oh, dude, not everybody wants that, and everybody here has their own thing that they want from me, and it's not necessarily that they want to grind at 6 o'clock in the morning because they're not the business owner, right? So, to your point now, more of like the people like here in the office, like there's a good vibe here. People want to work here,
That's
right?
great.
And there's a lot of, for the size company that we are and the amount that I invest in coaching and culture, and Candy's way better at it with more like really doing things that are more culture oriented, and like a town hall and the axe throwing and the things that we do.
You're at 13 employees now?
Yeah, somewhere in that realm. Yeah, 13, 15, depends on which week it is. Yeah, but on payroll, yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely,
Does that include you and Candy too?
yeah, yeah,
Got it. Okay, cool.
yeah.
See, do you guys have a COO in the business, or are you filling that role?
No, Candy took it. So she has a way. I'm that venture PI type, and that venture is like, the good sales. They're good at sales. I tend to hook a little more emotional with people, so I got to watch that. Like I
Mhm.
tend to care a little too much about people. Um, so Candy is way more detail oriented. I forget if you're supposed to say former Marine or Marine, whatever it is. I forget
The
the phrase.
Marine.
The
There's no
Marine. I don't want to say the wrong thing, and
Yeah.
they're gonna all come after me. And that strategist PI type, right? That's really can run with a big project and really dissect it, which can be irritating because there's lots of questions, and I fucking hate the details, and I hate 100 damn questions when I just want to get it done. And, so like those things are more where the business is now for me, where I wish it was about buying more houses, and it's actually about like building a company and building culture, and like
Yeah.
I would have thought I'd be in downtown office space in Nashville and like class A office space and like spending crazy money for an office. Fuck no, right?
No,
Like
you don't think that.
I spend more in my office than I do in my
I
house.
can I can see why you and I hit it off so much because that's me. I am NID, not into details, man.
Oh,
I
I,
wanna I wanna do the work. I wanna grind it out. I wanna move
yeah,
on to the next big picture, and I don't honestly want to get caught up in all the little details, and that's my biggest. It's always been my biggest struggle. And if somebody sends me an email, I mean, I'm telling you this publicly. If that son of a bitch is longer than 3 or 4 lines, good luck me reading it. I will skim it.
right.
What
Oh,
you know, I'm sorry. I'm just built that way. Like, let's get right to the point. I got my sales hat on most of the time, but I hate talking to salesmen because it's always, hey, how you doing? Trying to butter me up, a little sleazy, and I'm like, no, dude, what's the point? What are you selling? I'll know if I want the product or not. You won't tell me if I want the product or not.
I'm with you.
Like, no, I don't want that car. No, I don't need uh, paid ads. I mean, just like, what are you selling, and let's talk about it. and man, um, it got me in a little trouble last year. That's why we have so many Airbnbs, because I was just buying shit. You
Right.
know, 3 houses on one street, buying the neighbors. Like, we're not wholesaling that. We're not flipping that. We're keeping it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's crazy because my goal on some of these Airbnbs, and I was joking with Brian this morning, is that how many times did I go in his office and write down July that these houses will be done, and they're just now finished.
Yeah.
Like, just understanding the game, man, and what goes into it, and honestly, to have 10 people that you're responsible for, I mean, that's no small endeavor, dude. I mean, some days I bet you really want to freaking pull your hair out.
Dude. Yeah. No doubt. Right. Like even Monday, we like, parted ways with an employee, and even still, man, it's still fucks with your head, a little bit of like, what could
Yeah.
you have done better, right? How I'm always down that road of
Yeah.
like, what could I have done better? And I'm not at that point that I'm that far removed, I actually do care about people, and I've held
Well,
on.
that's the struggle, dude, and we do care, and I've got a big heart, but man, I've got a good friend of mine, and he said, he's got this saying in his office, and it's just fuck them. If they want to leave, fuck them, let them leave. If they want to go do something else, let them go do something else. Like, you can only care so much, and I think this also stems from somebody with an addiction habit, or somebody that wants to succeed, and but they won't put in the work. Like, you just can't do it for them.
Right.
And that's been my struggle with so many different people. And I'm 40 now, and so I've got a little bit of a track record here. Like, I try to help people, um, getting there.
Yeah.
And but like, you just want to shake them sometimes. Like, why won't you just freaking do it? And it goes back to, like, what is their why? Do they want to do it because they saw somebody on Instagram with a shiny car?
Right.
Like, for me, it was, I have no choice. I have 5 people that depend on me day in and day out, and I am never going to, I don't care what it takes.
Right.
I'm going to succeed. And I can tell that by your story, dude. And I know you didn't have 5 people when you were 25 years old, but you were like, fuck this, man. I'm getting shit done. I'm doing things right. Like, let's go. Let's make a difference. And work. Dude, I can remember when I was 20 years old, I would work 21 hours a day. I got my full-time job. Then I would go to a restaurant and cook, and then I detail cars in the middle of the night. I fucking hopped up on Red Bulls, and oh my gosh, thank God I didn't have cocaine. If I would have had my hands on some of that shit, I'd have used it.
Yeah, I'm lucky on that road too. What you said something about your Airbnbs? So, like, give me a couple now. Like, just like give give me a couple examples, a couple of Airbnbs that you're doing, because I put it out there for a couple of my guys of, like, hey, I'm talking with the Airbnb guy.
Oh shit, man!
I
tell you what, Blair and I still are learning. And, and that's what's amazing about being in this game. Like, you have to know that you're just a student of what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a student of Airbnb. Yes, do Blair and I have a bunch of them? Yes, are we growing? But we had this one property in St. Peters, Missouri, and it's a 4-2. There's nothing. I mean, it doesn't look that good. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It's clean. It's functional. It doesn't have any of the fancy shiplap or floating shelves or stainless steel appliances or wow factor that now our newer ones have. But you know fucking what it is about that damn house? Why we did $72,000 in that house in St. Peters, Missouri. Little old suburb, 40 minutes from St. Louis.
Yep.
It's got 2 full bathrooms.
Interesting.
I'm like, you gotta be shitting me.
Yep.
And it can't, and because we have a long-term stay there now for about 90 days. And I love doing that. By the way, another little golden nugget for whoever's wanting to get in the Airbnb business. During your slow months, lower your pricing just enough and then juice up that monthly discount. And we got 4 long-term stays in some properties that were pretty open, damn near vacant January, February.
Yep.
Everybody spends all their damn money, guys, in December. Christmas presents and real estate taxes. Like, I fucking hate December.
Yeah.
6 figures in real estate tax, dude. It's not fun. You got all these properties, and I own all this shit, and it's great. I got a credit when I bought the house, but I never thought in my mind, I'm not that smart guy I should have been and put that money aside. So I got to dip into some other pockets to pay all that. Anyways, so it was a damn 2-bedroom or 2-bathroom that did it. So the house sleeps 8 people.
Yep.
So the more you sleep, the more you reap. So if you're going to get into this game, I mean, and it's your first one, I'll punch you in the face if you're going to do a 1 bedroom. I'm going to punch you in the nuts if you're going to do a freaking 2 bedroom.
Yep.
Get a 3, get a 4, but
Yep.
please, please get 2 full bathrooms. You know, you have to, right? Ryan, no, I'm talking about property tax, bro. That bill coming no matter what. Not the federal income tax. He's like, go buy a piece of equipment. And I'm like, yes, Section 179. I do that stuff all the time, but this is the tax man that there ain't no discounts on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, I mean that's it there, you know. And if you're limited on funds too, don't rule out arbitrage. You can get into an arbitrage deal for maybe 10, 11,000 bucks, furnishings.
What's an arbitrage deal? Talk like I know what an arbitrage deal is. Talk to me what an arbitrage deal
Yeah,
is.
so arbitrage is very simple. So you got a landlord. So
Yeah.
my buddy Joe Boston's got this house. It's a 4 bedroom, 2 full bath, right in the heart of Boston, and he's like, I want $4,200 a month for this or 3,000. I don't know what your rates are. 3,000 a month for this property.
Yeah.
And I rent it from you.
Yep.
I rent it. You know what I'm going to do with it. You know I'm going to put it on all the hosting platforms. So I'm going to put it on Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com. Before I do that, I'm going to furnish the whole house, sexy it up, get all the essentials in there, all the stuff that you'd want at an Airbnb stay. My wife and I actually have a spreadsheet now, a list of all the items that goes in the kitchen, the baths, TVs, sheets, mattresses, all that stuff. And so you stock the house, put on the listing platforms, and you're off for the races. Now you have the expense of the rent, all the utilities, and your insurance, supplies, maintenance, and cleanings on the house. So all in, you'll probably be somewhere around 4,000, 4,200 bucks.
Yep.
But your goal is to double that. Your goal is to generate $8,000, $8,500 a month in income,
right,
from all the booking platforms. And if it's a 4-2 in Boston, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, definitely not.
Generating that kind of money. Now, why would someone do arbitrage? Well, someone's going to do arbitrage for one of two reasons. One, they're just going to go in and test the market out. So let's say I want to expand. Well, before I go buy an asset that I can't release very quickly, I'm going to go test the market and I'm going to go do an arbitrage deal. Well, Matt, you're under a lease. Well, yes, I'm under a lease, but at the end of the lease, I'm out. And
right.
I wash my hands, get my furniture, and I move. If it works, I will continue to extend that lease with that landlord. The next thing is just capital. Like if you don't have the ability to get your funding with the bank, get any private money, you just you don't have the credentials that you really need to purchase an asset, and 60, 80, 100 grand down, and you don't have that, then this is how you get started in the Airbnb business. I got some buddies in Kansas City that didn't have any money, didn't have any capital, but they started with apartments. They're up to like 50 apartments now. And I don't necessarily like the apartment game because it's very low profit, like 600 a month, 800 a month.
Yep.
Per unit. You still got to furnish it and you still got to maintain it and all this stuff. So that's not my secret sauce, but there's some guys out there that have thousands of apartments doing Airbnb arbitrage.
Interesting.
So yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of the game there. I could talk about Airbnb all
day. I know you could. I wanted to just like hit it a little bit at least, like not all be like, me yapping on about fucking whatever dumb shit that I've done.
But you got a couple coming up now. Don't you have like a house from the 1700s or something?
Yeah, we got one. I think it's like 1800, and it's in the Lakes region. Here it's up on it's the second largest lake in New Hampshire, Winnisquam, something. Yeah, Winnisquam and Squam.
Yeah, you told me. I forgot too.
I showed you, and I'm considering You're probably gonna yell at me, and I can see Christina's on here with me. My CFO, I saw logged in. She's gonna give me shit because I have a meeting with her tomorrow, and I'm considering selling the house before I fucking Airbnb it.
Is there that much profit in the deal?
Yeah. There's a lot, and I got it on good term. I got this. There's nothing for. I talk in Matt. There's one fucking house for sale in Holderness, New Hampshire, and people around me that maybe don't know the real estate market. We're talking Ashland area of New Hampshire. There's fucking one house for sale right now in town. One dude, one house for sale, and it's $650,000. I picked up this house for 150 on 4% interest, 0% down, right? So my thoughts are that if I sell the house right now, I can reinvest, and I need a tax break for 2023. Buy something bigger that I can depreciate for 2023. That either I'm buying a mobile home park, we're buying a large complex, something in those lines, so I can take a bigger depreciation. Like I necessarily don't want the income from that property, which is fucked up to say on so many levels, but so be it.
So what are we talking here profit wise? So you bought it for 150. How much you putting into it?
I've only put 10 grand into it right now.
Oh,
15. Let's just say 15.
you're only putting 15 grand in this thing?
Yeah. And
Wow,
I
man.
asked, right. This is, and I'll probably sell it for 3.
300.
Yeah.
So you'll walk away with 120, 130.
Yeah, I walk pretty close to that 140 number. I'll get right there, So the thing, So the thing is
Kind of
like,
with you.
I'm right. So, and it's not necessarily when we ran Air DNA numbers on it, and even when me and you looked quick at it, it would, and I know you gave me shit about it too, but we looked at what was that company that everybody uses? What's the big rental company in Airbnb that you can hire? Yeah, Vacasa. I had Vacasa look at it as well, and they before I talked to you, and we came up with about the same, and it was like 280 a night type of a number, and with an 80% rental, it would be rented 80% of the time. So like solid. That's what they came back with, and I believe it. It's in like it's a lake. It's a lake community in New Hampshire, right? So, I'm not fluffing that number, right?
So about 80 grand a year
Yeah,
gross. You got to subtract all your expenses out of that.
right. Property management bullshit, all the jazz, right? So,
Maybe keep around 30.
right.
Uh, So if we take 140 divided by 30, it's about 4.5 years. You'd have to hang on to it to make that money. I don't know. I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I might, even though that is a pretty cool asset. So I'm not going to sway your decision because
I know, because it is like a little bit of diversity for me, but like I really have to focus on like doing what's right for the company as well in this upcoming year, and where we got goals for 250 doors, like that just gives me more reserves to be able to take some more risk. And right now the phones are fucking ringing. Like, dude, I'm not kidding you. January 1st, I was hoping and praying. This last fourth quarter, dude, was rough in TV. Rough, dude. I took a pounding on my TV budget. Like, what we spend, I don't know, probably, it's 30 straight up for TV, 30K straight up for TV a month. And the last quarter we had elections. We had someone reminded me yesterday that I didn't realize, but he's in Panama, and he was like, dude, the World Cup. And I was like, oh yeah. And then the holidays, right? Like, we just got pounded. And I kept telling the team, come January 1st, man, those phones are going to burn. Sure as shit. Dude, they're lighting up right now. So it gives me a little bit more of be able to be like, because right now in New England, especially, spring market's big for us. And same thing for Missouri, right? You guys got that cold fucking shit. So, right? Like, ramp up now, get the fucking inventory, and then come fourth quarter, I was selling off all the shit that we bought during the year or in the earlier in the year. So that's kind of my momentum track right now is like, let's go to 250 doors, and I'll far outpace because if I take that 140 back in the door, I'm usually doing about a 3 to 5x on my spend. I'll generate even more to your point. So I'll take that 140 and
And
make it.
you'll turn it into, you'll make 280 off of it.
Right, exactly, right. So
No, so I love that. And I've done it.
yeah,
Blair and I sold 3 Florida houses that we thought we were going to keep forever. Um, my business had a little bit of turmoil this year because we had our hedge fund back out. I've told everybody this story. We had 42 houses under renovation, and then our hedge fund buyer just pulled the plug, canceled all the contracts. We're left with the real estate, right? So I had to sell some shit I never wanted in the first place. My team made some bad buys. I signed off on it, so ultimately it's my fault. Not blaming my team, but it is what it is. We all were in the same pot together. So we did. We sold 3 of our houses. I mean, at the freaking peak, the peak and peak of the Florida market. And the Florida market hasn't really taken a hit like Austin, Texas, and some areas like California stuff, but we were able to make 6 figures on each house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, plus I get my capital back.
Right.
Put in the deals.
100%.
So I was able to take those funds, put in the business, a little bit of lifeline. And so I wasn't in CG early enough to know like the stuff that they were preaching. Like some of these guys, that CG's been preaching that this market was going to crash, correct, divert, pivot, whatever you want to say, do what it was doing, or just stop altogether. And so they were preaching to load up on cash.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm putting in all my cash, going all in like the fucking crazy man I am. And then we get to a point, this year that we're just selling assets to make payroll, and I'm like, man, this is not how this should be working. So I'm doing it again. I'm selling two other Airbnbs that we have. They're almost done being renovated. We'll get really good money for them because they're in really good locations, and so like I'm totally fine with putting 150 back in the bank account so that we have that to continue our business model, right? And that's the thing about we can't get emotional about this real estate game, dude. I mean, we get emotional about it, but we can't get personally attached to.
I usually don't, dude. Like this house, I was like, oh, maybe we'll be able to use it. Don't forget where I came from. When we opened up the story. I mean, not that long ago, I was in a fucking trailer in a campground, and there's a couple of guys on my fucking channel here that knew me back then when I was in that fucking campground in that machine shop, and I worked with them, and so I was like, oh, we'll just use that as like a vacation house. But then when I started looking into the fucking laws, Mr. Tax Man don't like that, and I tend to kind of fly by the books with tax stuff. I don't
100%.
like to fuck around, and I'll push the line, dude. But I'm not. And they were saying, dude, you can't use it for more than 10% of what you have it rented for. So I was like, it's not. I mean, I'm better off just going on vacation where I want to go instead of like going to the same fucking lake house. You know what I mean? It's not even technically on the lake. So anyway.
Or use those funds.
Yeah, 100%. Right.
Build your business.
100%.
Get your business here.
Yeah.
Make a dividend. Go buy the lake house. Go buy the beach house.
100%.
Right. Like Blair and I talking about the tax man. This is funny. So the way we got the Sunbelt Beach House, we were able to buy it without any of our own cash. We we were able to invest in a commercial building. Then we did a 1031 and bought that building based off of the equity that we had. I couldn't touch any of the money. Bought the beach house. And then the crazy thing is, we wanted to use this as a vacation rental. So we wanted to go stay there every couple of months. We'll come to find out what you just said. You can't stay in that property for more than 1 week a year if you did a 1031 exchange on it for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, that's just, bullshit. Like, and I'm like, well, what if I want to go down there and work in the property? Well, you better not be staying for 2 weeks, and you better not have your whole family with you. And I'm like, man, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So anyways, like, we were just very limited on how much we could use that house. Now I'm in the clear. We can go down there and stay. But if I use it too much, then they got this formula that they have to, do that has to do with depreciation. But I went ahead and did, I did a cost seg on that property. And I'm probably going to do a cost seg on 10 of my short-term rentals. To boost up this year's return. I don't need any help 2022. I'm going to need help in 2023.
Yeah, and that was what the other play, that was why the other reason I was considering holding it was I did a cost seg study on it, and that was going to be another piece to write. I was like, all right, like, I got it for dirt cheap, right, for 4% money. And then I'll take all the depreciation. I did a cost seg on it. And I'm like, all right, this really makes fucking sense to hold on to. So there were, I was, man, my team wants to fucking kill me right now because they're
finding out for the first time that you want to sell this property.
Man, they're going to fucking kill. Well, Candy knows. Jeff kind of knows. Like, I have flip-flopped like a few times on this. We're like, all right, we'll sell it. And then we went heavy down the Airbnb road till, like, we really started crunching in on numbers and a few things.
Yeah, man. I honestly don't think that Blair and I will make too many more real estate plays that we own.
Yeah.
And hold that are not Airbnb, unless they're just seller financing or sub two, just so sexy. Whatever the play may be, cash flow or long-term equity. In this game, if they're not Airbnb, because, off of that 4.2, we get over $3,000 net profit every single month on that house. Not January and February, but it works out to that, for the whole year. And it's like, that's so much cash flow. Yeah. Now multiply that by the 30 that we have. Now I'm going to sell 2, so I'll be down to 28, but I'm okay with that because it's just a numbers game for me. We'll probably grab another 10 more this year. And my finance guy's like, we need to go grab, 5 to 6 more arbitrages over in this market because I think it's a good market and we don't have to put out so much capital for the real estate. But I got to have that balance because I don't want to have too much arbitrage and not enough equity because I'm in this for the long haul. I want a hedge fund to come in or someone to come and just wipe me out. Just write me a check, dude.
Funny you say that. That's one piece of the story I forgot to mention. And I'm not trying to pull it back, but it's an important part that I want
to hear it, dude.
I got my fucking banking license, dude.
What?
I got my banking license.
What is a banking license? I don't even know what that is.
Totally no. I just know that I busted my balls to get it. And it is, I have my mortgage banking license in the state of New Hampshire.
Oh, your mortgage license. So you can sell me a mortgage.
Yes. I can also write the mortgage. And I can also, like, in New Hampshire, like, you can't do certain, in New England especially, like, you can't do a lot of financial things without them coming after you. So you can't do more than 3 owner finance deals in the state of New Hampshire.
Holy
or
shit.
They're coming after you. And
wow.
You may sneak under the radar, and I know someone that they came after, and
wow.
So they don't fuck around. We tried every angle because we were killing it with mobile homes. Like I buy mobile homes all the time here because especially even in parks, I buy mobile
You were
homes.
telling me this, man, that
Like
you
I'm
can
a
just.
mobile home crazy guy, right? I buy them. I fucking love them. And there's no affordable housing in New Hampshire. It's just not unless you go way north, and no one wants to live up there. Everyone wants to live up there, but there's nowhere. So, and there's no health care. So I buy these mobile homes, and I'm like, man, I would like to make long-term plays on them. Well, and I don't do the lease option thing. I don't play any of those games. I was like, I want to do owner finance notes. No dice. Talk to my attorneys, talk to everybody. I'm like, what's the workaround? Like, I'll push the gray, right? I'll push that gray, and no workaround. So we went, and no one our size has a mortgage banking license in the state of New Hampshire. There's all these big companies that have their mortgage banking license. And so I'm like the smallest guy. They don't usually give them to the small operators. They pull them all away. So part of the buyout was I bought my partner out of the flipping and wholesale, bought him out of the mortgage banking business, and I bought him out of the real estate brokerage that we own. So that my play and it is brain damage, dude. Brain damage. You want to talk about like government oversight to a
Oh,
level
damn.
that I have never and then like their website for like being able to do things that you got to do. You got to do mortgage call reports. Like all this shit's foreign to me, and no one in CG that I can do it. Eddie Speed knows one guy, and they wanted boku dollars to be able to help me. And so it's the state and the federal site on one website, state and federal. So you have the New Hampshire website and you have the federal website all on one. It is insane. But to your point, which derailed me on a side topic, but I'm proud of it. And I've had to pack it a little bit because I can't get distracted right now. But the play would be where I'm able to go buy either lots of mortgages or generate lots of mortgages with collateral that I've bought at 65 cents on the dollar, and I can write a mortgage on it, get the arbitrage basically of getting the money at 5% interest, writing a mortgage at 9%. So I get that right there, and I get the difference of, well, I got the property for 50 and I'm writing a mortgage on it for 100. Right?
Nice.
So I get instant equity there. So, and we stayed a general price point that's pretty safe with, I'm not doing this on $500,000 houses, right? It's usually sub 125,000 to make it work. So I'm pretty safe with that, FHA, affordable housing type of product. So that is my longer term with you there that I don't talk about too much, and that I'm really
My wheels are spinning a little bit on that. Maybe we'll catch up. Are you going to California in March?
50-50. We got to talk to Candy a little bit about that, but
I'm going, dude. I already booked my shit.
Oh, that's good. All right.
I have too many Southwest points, man. I'll
Yeah.
fly there for free, shack up.
Yeah. So that's my big thing right now is I have to pack it a little bit because there's a lot of pieces from like jail time type stuff if you fuck up.
Yeah.
Like I had to fill out all this FENSEN paperwork, and like I can't take money from drug lords, and you go like it's really really controlled. And
so it sounds like the reward is strong, but there's a lot of steps you have to take, and I can tell. So, like, what's your goal this year? You told me on how many houses you wanted to do. 250 transactions.
Yeah.
That's wholesales, flips, trailers, mobile home park, all that kind of stuff. That's a big freaking goal, man. How many is that a month? 20? It's about 20 a month, 21 a month.
Yeah.
That's a deal a day.
Yeah.
22 working days in the month, man. It's a deal every day. How are you guys on the goal right now?
Well, we can generate. We did last year $160 contracts written, and we ended up at 100 contracts for the year. I have doubled the company over 1 year. I doubled it. So And last year we held steady because I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of things I had to do with buying my business partner out. So now, like, we're really solid. We have a real solid foundation, and I got the right people in the right seats now. And like my TC is rock fucking solid. Dispo is killing it, selling
So
everything.
just pour a little gasoline on that fire, man, and watch it freaking spread.
Yeah, I got some good coaches right now. Ren's helping with sales management, helping me do a little better. We got Activate doing overall business consulting with us, dude. Like I got Christina doing CFO with us. There's a lot of people in my corner, and it cost me some dough. That
Yeah.
again, I live pretty frugally to be able to play the long,
Long game.
Ferrari's not
100%, dude.
parked out in the parking lot. My 10-year-old Dodge Ram Power Wagon's out there. Then that's that. It's the long game, man. That's what it's always been for me.
Dude, that's so great.
Fuck you get there,
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we're coming up on a little over an hour here.
Yeah.
Just want to thank you for your time. I know this really isn't your thing, getting on, sharing your story, and I just wanted to say, really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I was happy to. You sat and talked with me. You sat and talked with my wife, and you gave us time. And you made I go to CG and make those deep connections with people, and I want those one or two deep connections with people that you make a friend. And
That's it. I would say this last event, I was able to connect more.
Yeah.
My first one, obviously, it's
Right.
your first one. You're a little standoffish. You're
Yeah.
trying to, how's this all work? Soak this all in. And then you realize that there's billions of dollars of real estate and knowledge and companies and people in this room.
Yeah.
And then all of them check their ego at the door.
Serious.
And like, I thought that was just something that Jason said. And then like they do.
Yeah.
They'll open up, they'll talk to you, chat with any one of them at the bar.
Yep.
Or dinner or afterwards. Like I was able to connect with a lot of people, and it's a pretty cool experience. And if anybody, man, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're doing big things, I'm plugging CG and I'm telling all my friends about it that do big things. Like, talk to Leon, man. If whether it's Premier or Select, I don't know how any of that works. They put me where they put me, and I'm glad they did. So
I told them someone from here, someone that I know called. They saw me talking about CG, and they're like right here in my market. And Leon called me. I was like, no fucking way they're getting in here. And I'm fucking telling him everything I'm doing. He's involved. And I was like, Leon, I'm just being fucking upfront with you. There ain't a fuck of a way I love the guy, but like, and I know we're like, good friends. And I said,
I thought that was really interesting too. Like, and we gotta call Sam. We gotta call Jimmy. And we got to find out if they will allow you to come in. And I'm like, wow, this is legit. And luckily, Sam and I and Jimmy, we've never butt heads. We've never competed. I've always kind of done my thing. They've always done their thing. So blessed for that to happen.
They won't let my friend in. They won't let Robin Hyder in because they work. They work. They all know. Too much competition internally. Because Rob does a lot of deals. So, yeah, interesting enough. So,
well, right on, dude. Man, thank you. Thanks for coming on here, and
welcome.
Hit me up, bro. If you ever need anything, I'm here. I'm around. Happy to help. Bounce some ideas off of Airbnb related.
All right.
Whatever you got, bro.
That sounds good, man.
Thanks, dude. We'll see you.
All right.
Later.